Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and we're probably at this point 2 days late for the secret lair insider reveal thing. You're probably starting to hear weird things about it, like limited edition backwards cards and a tie-in from some show that was on, I think, when I was in high school, so hooray. Bro, anime tie-in or I'm not interested, alright? You want me to buy my first secret lair ever? It damn well better be .hack. Or the best anime ever made, obviously, King of the Hill. Leave your hate comments down below. Anyway, it's time to buzz through the magic story from Midnight Hunt because the story is starting to come out for Crimson Vow, so this will get you right caught on up. Just kidding. If you're under any kind of impression that this is going to be even vaguely accurate, you're out of your damn mind. So there are 5 main story chapters in Midnight Hunt and then some side ones. I only read the main ones. So chapter 1 starts off with a guy getting chased by some human hunters. Turns out he's a vampire. Oh my gosh, Shyamalan twist. Also, it turns out it's actually like the year 2007. And Innistrad is just like a village experiment, get out of society hipster commune. But then he turns around, he's like, oh, it's slightly later at night now, so instead of getting chased, I'm gonna become a stronger vampire. Apparently vampires get stronger at night. Okay. And he goes on his little superiority trip and he's all, oh, I'm so much better than you, ooh, dumb humans. And then the dumb humans are like, ha, I looked at 100 memes and now I'm a doggo. Oh, another Shyamalan twist. They turn into werewolves. And he's like, oh, werewolves. I better fly away. And then they tackle him in midair before he can do it, I guess. I don't know. And then they rip him apart and he's like, that's not supposed to happen. And I never really got the point of this. I mean, it was very like artistic imagery, you know, set the mood kind of stuff, which, you know, whatever. But I think what they were getting at is that like more humans are werewolves now. Trust me, 5 chapters, they never address it. So then it cuts to Arlen Cord visiting some old lady whose husband was killed in a werewolf attack in their own little cottage cabin thing. Well, if that ain't reason to buy a gun and some silver bullets. If I were to summarize their interactions, it's everything sucks. Very productive middle of the chapter there. So I guess she was like on the trail of the witches or something. She's like, what are they doing? So she has her actual wolf friends, not wolf friends as in werewolves, literally friends that are factually wolves and like not human part of the time. She tells them, find witches. And they're like, I can smell magic because story. And then they find them. And she's like, hey, I heard you guys are doing a thing. And they're like, yeah, we're totally doing a thing. Catilda is the head of it. And she's like, hey, we found this giant thing that looks like the thing from Contact. And we're going to launch Jodie Foster into space with it. And to do it, we're going to have a giant Oktoberfest with a whole bunch of pumpkins, ale, and like spiced cider that's probably also alcoholic. And we're going to try to film a YouTube video after the edibles have already kicked in. It's going good so far. But also, we're going to start this bitch up by all getting together. And after Oktoberfest, we're all going to have the village people do the YMCA. And if we all do it at the same time, something about time travel or planetary alignment and the moon. And I don't know. I just realized this. The whole time reading it, I never figured out why the nights are getting longer and who's behind it. Maybe we find out in Crimson Vow. Maybe we find out in a side story. Does anybody know? Whatever's happening and why, which strangely has everything to do with the moon and moon magic and like planetary alignment, and yet does not have to do with Emrakul. To reiterate, it has to do with the moon. We're on Innistrad, and it has nothing to do with Emrakul. Wizards! How does that even happen? The funny thing is Mark actually answered that on his blog, and I don't want to anger people too much in this video, but let's just say you don't want to hear his answer. If I were to really loosely paraphrase, we just didn't want to revisit that. We didn't want to go that direction. So Emrakul's on timeout in the moon until you feel like she shouldn't be. It's a shame because the author of these stories was like actually really good. I think this is probably the best author for consistent quality over chapters, I should say, because there have been some really good one-offs in the past. But she is, like, not playing with this. Like, this was really well written. So Arlen's like, hey, isn't it stupid to put that many humans in one place? And Catilda's like, yeah. And that's the end of the chapter. Also, somewhere in there, she says something about Tovalar. We all know he's the opposing werewolf. I guess, like, Arlen and him hung out when she was younger, but now, you know, God knows how many decades later, She's like, oh yeah, but I left because he eats humans, and that eating humans is bad. Killing humans is bad, Carl. I don't think I'm even quoting that correctly. So anyway, he's into just, kill whatever I want to hunt. I do what I want to do because I'm a werewolf and I'm better than you. And she's all like, no. And it turns out she has 4 wolves on her team at this point, and he has about, I don't know, 400, it sounds like. So then chapter 2 is like a flashback episode. It's, oh, she grew up with Tovalar, then her parents, and then she felt bad about attacking a human, but he was like, nah, it's cool. And she's like, nah, it's not. Hunting is who we are. I'm a big, violent, hairy wolf man and not one giant testosterone monkey toxic masculinity feminism punching bag in fictional narrative form. My gosh, you guys, men are just the worst. They're like so violent. So honestly, this cuts back and forth between like her childhood and now to the point where I can't even figure out when she's talking to him or if she is now. I don't even know if she is. It was so annoying and I hated this chapter. Don't read it. There, that's chapter 2. Oh wait, she goes to go get literally discount Jace because she said last time she went to go get Jace, she had to fill out like 12 forms of paperwork just to go see him, and she's like, whatever, I'll go get discount Jace. I heard about someone else, and goes to get Teferi. And I don't remember how she goes to find Chandra. I think she was just there or something visiting. I don't know. She ends up there too because, you know, burn the werewolves. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, they're all in one place, and then Kaya comes too because Kaya's actually awesome. Yeah, Mary Sue to the max. Okay, great, got it. Feminists are annoying. That said, her tactics, her powers, her writing, personality, everything, her weapon set, freaking amazing. I love her. Also, we find out that the Dawnheart Coven of Witches was from like 200 years ago or something like that or more. And like, I guess Avacyn was like, no, stop doing that. You have angels now. And now that all fell apart because Emrakul, among others. Oh, wait, no, it was just Emrakul that came there. That's right. Now they're like, well, next best thing. And I think the witches tell her to go get the Moon Silver key because you turn it in the ignition on the Jodie Foster contact machine thing. And then it beams your cat memes into space, which makes Emrakul spin the Earth faster. I don't know what's going on. Something with gyroscopes, probably. It's magic and made-up physics, okay? I ain't gonna explain nothing. Y próximo tenemos capítulo 3, where something happens. Oh, yeah, they go after the key in Thraben, and then they're like, oh, that's a lot of zombies. It was supposed to be some kind of hint in a cathedral. I guess, like, somehow they knew that the cleric guy was still alive and he knew where it was. And so it's kind of funny because the zombies that were raised by, I think they actually said Liliana, they just kind of hung around after she like raised them to go fight, I don't know, Emrakul's minions or creations or mutations or all of the above. And once she left, they just kind of, you know, whatever. They're not known for their intelligence, so they kind of like went about their daily life, which is hilarious. So they went to church, and then the cleric dude, the archbishop or whatever that they're going after, he was like mumbling a zombie sermon, and they were all like miming like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And I believe they said Liliana's parting words were something like, oh, find a use for them. I've got an idea. End the spell, dispel it, put them back in the ground before you leave. So yeah, Bishop Dude's name is Warren, and Arlen's like, hey, you recognize me? Because I guess she like grew up with him or something, I don't remember. And then he just keeps saying Dennick, and then she's like, oh, that's his son, okay. And then, I don't remember, they find out somehow that he knew where the key was. And, I mean, spoiler alert, when they get there, then Dennick says like, oh yeah, I was the last one to know where the key is. So they head to the Betzold house, because that's where Dennick was last known to be. So the 3 planeswalkers show up at the manor, and they're like, you know, that place is like super duper haunted. And like Kaya starts twitching, and she's like, haunted with what? Spirits? Haunted with spirits? And then boom, signs up for Twitch on the spot, starts doing a Luigi's Mansion speedrun. Okay, she just goes in and just starts like phasing through walls, stabbing ghosts left and right. Like 100 ghosts, 2 minutes flat. Like she just literally activates Mary Sue Super Saiyan mode, which I assume comes with pink hair, maybe blue. And she just kills every ghost until they aren't there. Although kills might not be the term. I don't know if they've even settled on how the hell her powers work. Oh, and somehow she has her knives back, even though she like broke them or lost them or something. I thought she had Keldheim double-sided axes or something. Or actually, it was like handheld Bardishes. Like it made no sense. Hey, maybe that's why she got rid of them and got some new knives. So somehow, in, quote, less than 5 minutes, according to Teferi, although time, so I wouldn't believe a word out of his mouth, the only ghost left standing is Dennick. Odd, considering she doesn't know what he looks like. But somehow she killed every ghost but that one, when I can't even do a House of the Dead run in the arcade without killing at least 2 civilians. I mean, Area 51? Maybe you shouldn't have worked there. Just saying. Don't run across the screen. I'm trying to shoot aliens. So I think Dennick tells him, oh, it's inside of Castle whatever with mopey emo Soren, or who even is here? I gotta fast forward there. I don't know. One of those emo vampire douches. I think it's Soren. So they go there. The place is empty and totally wrecked. But then they get to the throne room and he's like, hey, you guys suck. Everything sucks. I'm so sad. I'm so emo. Emo never died. I'm listening to Under Oath, guys. It's not a phase. So they're like, give us the key and we'll leave you to mope in a cold, dark place. Because emo. God, I hate vampires. Then when somebody says the word Avacyn, it triggers his PTSD/bipolar anger disorder. And they get in a sword fight, but then, oh, a feather falls between them just then. How dramatic and what great timing. It's gold. It's flowing. Yeah, we all know who it is. It's Sigarda. She just straight up tells them, it's on the 3rd floor, blah, 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 go get it. Like, literally, I cast Find Key and Morrowind. There it is. Have fun, guys. I don't remember if somebody stays behind to fight him besides Sigarda, which... my vote's on Sigarda, but then again, he did create Avacyn, but yeah, I don't know. So Arlen grabs the key once they make it up to like his bedroom or office, or wherever the hell it was. So now they gotta book it back to Harvesttide for the Harvesttide Oktoberfest festivities, and as they leave, they can faintly hear Soren saying, "Spare me just 3 last words. I love you," is all she heard. "I'll wait for you, but I can't wait forever. So cut my wrists and black my eyes." Oh crap, speaking of that, I have a wedding to prepare for. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. The obnoxious diva unbearable vampire, Lady Olivia Volderan, is notified of the Harvesttide Festival. And she's like, oh, they're trying to do something about the nights going all to whack, which I guess she also isn't responsible for. And then she's like, wait a minute, let's let them set up the whole ritual, the magic, find the key, do everything for us, and then we'll just swoop in and like turn the key the other way and make it always night. Which, isn't that what's already happening? Like, I don't get it. Maybe it was Tovalor using some kind of magic to shift the night, but like the only thing that can do that is the Jodie Foster contact ring gyroscope machine thing. And it's not working and the key is missing. So, okay, seriously, somebody tell me in the comment section who started the effect to make it become night too quickly even for autumn. That is like the biggest piece missing from this. And even if it's a spoiler from Crimson Vow, put it in the damn comment section because I have to know. Because none of this is coming together. And it's pissing me off. I'm losing my chill, and these sleeping pills are wearing off. So blah, 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 carved pumpkins, everybody's drunk, the village people are singing, I don't know, country songs or something. The witches are very, intelligently using their magical abilities to impress kids by making candles float into carved pumpkins. That'll go over well when the werewolves attack. Hey, guess what happens? The werewolves attack. But Arlen gets back there just in time, I guess, and she's like, oh, it's almost night, and they're gonna come when it's night, because werewolves, and blah, 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 I'm so damaged, oh, my wolves, ooh, betrayal, why, That's a direct quote from Arlen. Get out there and do something about it there, sister, instead of just whining, oh, they betrayed me to join Tovalor, but they were my wolves and they were my friends. What, are you in the 3rd grade? Identify the source of the problem, kill the source of the problem. Problem solved. So there's a barrier up, but then the extra super XL thick chonker wolf boys decide to, smash tree trunks. I think they said against the barrier, and it like shatters after like 6 seconds. Everybody fights everybody. The Cathars sound like they're not doing very well. Also, they're there somehow all of a sudden for some reason. I don't know. I guess word got out to the villages. It might have been in a side story, but it wasn't in the main story. So I guess humans just had nothing better to do and word spread. I guess maybe it's also kind of their job, but they got there in like a day, so that seems weird. Well, anyway, Chandro does all of them because fire, and she just starts blasting fire at everyone and everything, and the wolves are all burning, I think. I don't know, they never confirmed that. Teferi does something with time magic to speed up some stuff and slow down other stuff to, I don't know, screw with the fight, even though he could probably just send the werewolves back in time 1,000 years. Phase them all out and drop in the moon silver key and crank it. I don't know. So then Arlen runs over and all, oh, Tovalar, call this off, because he's the one behind the attack, because humans are the worst or whatever. I mean, honestly, on Innistrad, humans are the worst, but also everything else is the worst. I hope the whole plane gets destroyed. Unless you think I'm simplifying this. And there's Tovalar again. Amid the chaos of the raid, he stands still. Brighter are his eyes than the fires now set to the forest and focus straight on her. Tovalar, she shouts. Call this off. He smirks, shakes his head. No. So I'm not kidding when I say she goes up to Tovalar and yells, call this off, and he replies, no. That is not paraphrasing. That is what happened. So they fight, I don't know, she has like a mace or something, and then they do the whole, join me, no, the dark side. You know, all this Star Wars bullshit, and I don't know, I'm trying to skim because I read this a long time ago. I should have made this video earlier. Does she kill him? I hope she kills him. I don't remember. Oh, she head butts him, except it's head boops him, because she head boops him on the nose, which, if you didn't know, wolves and dogs have like a ton of nerves in their nose. I'm telling you, this author did her research. So that staggers him, but then she sees like his teeth are getting longer because it's starting to like, I don't know, the moon's coming out or whatever the hell's going on. The dialogue in this section is so cringe. You're a wolf, Arlen. And she's like, oh, I never said I wasn't. He's like, then show me. Oh, and it turns out, as they're doing more talking than fighting, that she's in her human form this whole time. And then at the very end of the chapter, she's like, oh, yeah, I should probably turn into a wolf because, you know, they're stronger. And then she does. And then he's like, yeah, wolf form. Woo. Oh, wait, I'm more likely to lose now. Oops, I probably shouldn't have told her to do that. Well, anyway, hand over the funnel cake and cider and nobody gets hurt. And she's like, never. I'll see you in chapter 5, loser. And then it goes to chapter 5. So that's the start of chapter 5. Arlen is still all whiny, mopey. Oh, my life is so terrible. Oh, I remember the past. Oh, Tovalar. You live on Innistrad. Everything's terrible. You want to do something about it? Kill Tovalar. His name is stupid and he deserves to die. As does whoever named him Tovalar. I mean, I've heard some dumb Zoomer baby names from my niece's class at school, but Tovalar, that's a solid 8 out of 10. It's not quite Nevea, which is an 11 out of 10. And I will tell the parents to their face, isn't spelling heaven backwards and naming your kid that like hanging a cross upside down? But anyway, Arlen's still all, ooh, I'm gonna turn into wolf form and battle you now. But first, a whole internal monologue about stuff. Oh, my upbringing was so bad. Oh, I had such a traumatic childhood. I'm such a victim. First of all, can you tell an SJW wrote this? And secondly, oh my god, she's a pop teen YouTuber. Oh guys, I'm so brave to fight my anxiety. I'm rich and famous on YouTube and everybody loves me, but I'm so depressed, anxiety, man. I just want to reach through the screen and slap these people. Cause like, okay, cool, I used to be like that, but like I got the help I needed and got over it. These people, holy shit. Anyway, Tovalar's all, I'm gonna kill you. Join the dark side. And she's like, I can't, cause I just had some very expired pumpkin pie and mixed melatonin with CBD. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to throw up between takes. And he's like, what? And she's like, never mind. So he keeps growing taller because moon magic, not because story drama? Uh-huh. I really hope that this goes completely blindside tits up in a hurry. Because, I mean, this has just been like 4 straight chapters of melodrama after 1 straight chapter of like exposition dump. Oh, and then like I said, a Luigi's Mansion speedrun. That's like all that happened in this entire story. It's well written. I didn't say it wasn't stupid. Most of my most hateful, obnoxious, crazy nutbar comments in my comment section are poorly written, but occasionally I get a really, really well written comment that's still completely off their rocker nuts. Look, it happens. I'm not saying it's a good story. Maybe I'm just not into this. Maybe it was written for 14-year-olds. I don't know. Maybe Twilight just ruined vampires, werewolves for me forever, which would be hard because I didn't see any of the movies, but I did see Underworld. All 2 of them? There's more, aren't there? But I hope she's like, oh, here's the final battle, and this will end one of us, and there can be only one Highlander. And then Teferi just shows up and like sends his head forward in time and his ass backwards in time, and just there you go. Now he's dead. You know, that's a good point. Okay, one, I'm calling it the time twerk, try to stop me. And secondly, why does that never happen? It's just like the Flash, okay? Like, he's too powerful, and speed beats literally everything, because if you can't catch him, you can't touch him, you can't hit him, you can't do anything. So then they just like have him misuse his powers, like stupidly, or like some kind of, I don't know, they're just like, we went too far. Oops. So if you can just screw with time and freeze people in place and stuff, and he seems to have virtually limitless mana, then, you know, why doesn't he do that? He phased out an entire continent, basically, back on Dominaria. And this was pre-mending, I do believe, but, like, still, now he can't even freeze, 12 werewolves. Like, let alone all of them. Maybe she should have sat there and done paperwork for, like, 6 hours and gotten Jace. So, blah, 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 feminist BS about, oh, but I can't fight angry. That's what he does. Men are terrible. He's bigger and angrier, but I'm more of a victim, so I'm going to win because Twitter. So, like, she starts really cutting him open. He puts her through a tree. She's got a chunk of wood in her shoulder, but they both don't really care because, werewolf powers and whatever. Oh, so adrenaline, anger, focus, fighting capabilities, strength, and basically testosterone help you win a fight after all. Who would have thought? So, because cliches, she tears the chunk of wood out of her shoulder, stabs it into his knee, and that's what finally wipes the smile from his face. That was pissing her off this whole time. Finally, he says, I used to be an adventurer like you. Okay, fine, I won't make that joke. But then 2 seconds later, he's like, well, I might as well at least, win the fight. Oh, by the way, Tovalor is cheating. He's, like, using her own wolves against her because they joined his side or whatever. And they're all, like, biting her and crap while he's like, oh, crap, wood in the knee, damn. So he tries one last time. For some reason, I don't get his obsession with this to be like, yo, like, this is who you are. Come hunt with us. Screw the humans. We'll accept you. So he's all, hey, tell me you'll go home with us. You're coming home. They kept quoting that cringily. And I'll let you live. So I think he, like, reaches out his hand to her, and she's like, oh, you know what I could do? Even after admitting it's very underhanded. She reaches out, to him, like, oh, yeah, okay, sure, whatever, Mistakes were made, but sure, I'll go play wolves with you, and then, boom, drives her claw deep into his sternum. Which is weird, because you can't drive claws into a sternum. This is just one giant, oh my god, pick up a biology textbook. But we all know that, garlic and vampires, it's like biology textbooks and SJW authors. It's the same thing. They merely touch the surface of it and their hand just lights on fire. So she's all, Innistrad is my home, and the forest is already my home, and whatever, as long as I can breathe, I'm going to protect it, so probably shouldn't have reached out your hand for me, because now you got a claw in your sternum, asshole. So he goes for her already injured shoulder, but he can barely move, because, surprise attack. Is this a good time to point out, she could have planeswalked away this entire time, and as far as I know, planeswalk back instantly, just to, like, the other side of the battlefield? Yeah, if you're about to die, or the wolves are always chewing on you, and you're like, oh, I'm kind of losing this fight, or I'm getting a little dizzy, planeswalk away? Heal up, come back with a better weapon. Doesn't take long, depends where you go. Just saying, come on. Oh, and apparently he sounds really mad and hurt, and it's beyond the physical pain, because he thought that she was reaching on her hand to join him, and now his feelings are hurt. Oh, hurting his feelings really destroyed him in the end, okay. So apparently because the law of the jungle / wolf politics? I don't even know. Basically, I'm just going to read the end here. I'm going to try and make sense out of it. So he goes, you lied! Call it off, she repeats. He presses his eyes shut. She wonders, okay, blah, 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 what a cringe. Okay, great. Whatever it is, it brings him to his senses. In a choked gurgle, he says, fine. She sets him down, withdraws her hand. Would she have it around his heart, or his lungs or something? His sternum? Make sure he's sitting up, because the others will eat him alive if they catch him doubled over. Yeah, one sign of weakness, they'll attack the 15-foot-tall werewolf, sure. Yeah, their leader for the last 50 years that lets them hunt and gives them free stuff and food, sure. He looks at her again and she shakes her head. The howl goes up soon after that, a call for retreat. Only the wolves understand. He did not ask her to follow, though. Is what that last line should have said if it was written stylistically correctly. So they both beat the crap out of each other. Nobody died. She said she's pretty confident that he would survive it. like all the injuries and crap once the shamans, like helped them or whatever, but aren't they all in wolf form for like another 12 hours? I don't know how all this works. I have no idea. Don't werewolves regenerate? I don't know. But yeah, all the wolves start running away, but they're already referring to it as the Harvestide Massacre. After, I'm not even kidding, it's not like hours later. 5 seconds later, they're referring to it, she's referring to it, the narrator's referring to it as the, quote, Harvestide Massacre, capital H, capital M. Too soon? Oh, they actually double down on this. I forgot this part. The name's already been mourned from the lips of the Cathars who now stand bruised and battered. Okay, we're going with that. Let me just really drive home the point about how dumb the humans are on this stupid plane and how dumb their plan was, which is literally just hold Oktoberfest. Arlen could not look on it for long, too much like the Travails, which is the Emrakul thing. Worse, in a way, with all the childish decorations now strewn about like the storm refuse, which probably should have been phrased storm refuse. Boy, wow, the quality dropped off in chapter 5. I don't think I found a single grammatical or spelling error in all the rest of the chapters. Ooh, the carved pumpkins were crushed beneath the bodies of the dead. Maybe they shouldn't have wasted their time on all this bullshit and brought kids to the place. I was not kidding or exaggerating with this ongoing joke about them just literally holding Oktoberfest. It's what they did. This is how it went. I'm sure it's all part of the magic. Call me crazy. I would have just stuck in the key, turned it, and just, maybe spray some starter fluid into the intake. Maybe get everybody to push, bump start it a little bit, and then, maybe skip the cider and the alcohol and the pumpkins and spiced whatever the hell. Although this one section kind of brings it back, okay? Because this, I get this, and this sets up Crimson Vow more than anything else. Where the humans are just like, I'm done with this bullshit. I am so done with this crap tank of a plane. If I'm going down, I'm going down fighting. Let's grab the pitchforks and actually consider arming the Cathars and training and all the other stuff they do in Crimson Vow. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, you think maybe we should, try using magic? So Arlen's like, my parents would never believe it, but if they heard about it, they wouldn't have attended, because they would have turned up their noses and muttered that safety lay in isolation. Then, as now, she knows what they really meant. That they obviously didn't watch Attack on Titan. But also that safety and fear were one and the same. They're wrong. Everyone keeping to themselves, thinking about themselves. That's how Innistrad got here. Vampires climbing towards eternity on the backs of the mortals. Werewolves hunting people they should be protecting. Division caused this. Had the wolves realized the importance of keeping the day and night in balance, they could have protected the festival instead. Now, I would have went with, hey, we've made a mistake. What we actually need to do is kill every single ghost, zombie, werewolf, vampire, witch, necromancer, stitcher, as if that's not a necromancer, mentally deranged mad scientist. Hell, if I even just saw a creepy old person, I might just be like, just to be safe. You can't trust shit on Innistrad. Drop the scorched earth tactics on that bitch. All these creatures, they're the disease, and humans are the Lysol spray. Let's go. At least she gets it. So they get to the center of the Celestis, aka the Jodie Foster contact rings, and there's a lot of chanting going on. Apparently, really, Oktoberfest was probably just let's be honest, it had nothing to do with the magic. They just wanted a good turnout, so they brought the snacks, okay? That it's just what you do. If you want people to go to a boring meeting at work, you have a tray of donuts. Maybe get a Subway platter, okay, it's the bait, and then you spring the trap. But really, it's just a bunch of dumb witches chanting, so cool. So then all the witches talk with one voice, and she's like, whoa, this is some cool magic. And then after 3 seconds, she's like, oh, it's just pretty much Catilda and her magic controlling their minds, great. And so they all speak in unison because that's the creepiest way to do it, because story. And they're like, Arlen Cord, will you blah, 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 protect, do this? She's like, all right, what do you want? And they're like, anoint the sun gold lock with blood and fang to protect whatever. Apparently they meant it literally, so she takes blood from her shoulder, slaps it on the altar, bites into some random herbs that got laying there, which just, FYI, that's not a good idea. If somebody leaves out a pile of herbs at Oktoberfest, don't just bite them, okay? That's just not gonna end well. And then she, chews them up and spits them on the altar or something stupid like that. And the bowl begins to hum. Oh, and then the gears start grinding and the Celestis starts to hum and yeehaw, she's about to get launched into space. So the witches are all like, okay, we're going to throw in our 2 ingredients, all right. One's like a really, really super old root, which, God, are those annoying to dig out of the ground. So she instantly turns that into ash, and then, because their part is ash and a soul, and then I guess she, dumps her soul out of her mouth into the bowl. So that happened. Well, that's witch magic for you. I would have went with Cathar and angel magic because witches are awful. And dumb hipster nature witches are the worst. And then, as we already know from the cards, right in the middle of this, Olivia Volderan shows up. Great. So she grabs for the key, and Arlen's like, nah. So then finally, one of the other morons standing around doing nothing, Kaya, jumps up and goes at Arlen's side, and she's like, oh yeah, I should probably, not let her steal the key and do something. I would have instantly stabbed Olivia in the back, but I don't know, it's kind of implied that she's flying, whatever. And Kaya informs her there's something funny going on with Catilda's soul. She's like, well, what happened? She's like, I don't know, it left her body, and then Olivia showed up, and I don't know what happened after, because it happened so fast. So then Chandra shows up, and, I mean, I can respect this. She goes, we blast her, right? Yes, the solution to everything on Innistrad is turn it to a pile of ashes. And Kaya says, can't do that, might hit Catilda. As if that's relevant. So she's all, oh, I'm going to kill her if you don't give me the key so I can get back to wedding planning. She basically says that. And Arlen's like, can we complete the ritual without her? There you go, finally, expendable. First of all, she's already dead. I don't know what they don't get about that. And secondly, Kaya's like, do we even have time for that? Do we know how to do that? And then, time. Her mind goes to Teferi, around here somewhere. Oh, I doubt it. But even if she could find him, he couldn't possibly buy them enough. Really? Because I think he can stop time. And then somehow it goes right from that to slowing down the sun's no small task. I've got an idea. Freeze Olivia and then blow her head off. Not the entire sun. You idiots. Oh, wait, okay, I think I get where they were going with this. This is just incredibly poorly phrased. He already did something with the sun and magic and crap. That's why he's not here, because he's incredibly tired. Oh, because he wanted to hold off the werewolves for a little bit, so he tweaked the sunset, sunrise, sun, whatever the hell, and okay, well, whatever. I'm still on Team Freeze Olivia, but I guess, that's convenient that he's out of commission, since he's the most unbelievably powerful one here. Guess Chandra's just gonna have to light a bitch on fire. So they're like, okay, we just don't have time to think this through or talk to the other witches or, make a plan B or any of this crap. I'm gonna chuck the key at her, which, that guarantees you can't finish the ritual, whereas you might be able to finish the ritual and be -1 Olivia Volderan if you absolutely, flame tornadoed her right about now. So then they're all, oh, Olivia, deal's a deal, we gave you the key. So she takes Catilda and chucks her down at, ridiculous Mach 7 straight onto the altar. They could barely break her fall, and, well, oops. My God, I thought the Gatewatch was a bunch of idiots. At least there's some personal responsibility here. Let me read the ending. In the times to come, Arlen would think about this moment and what she could have done differently. If she had moved a little faster, would it have been so bad? If she had acted sooner, if she had chosen something else, what would have happened? Well, she's smarter than Gideon, because, my God, he just went to Amonkhet and joined the Hunger Games instead of oh, we should do something about Bolus. So Olivia jumps to Vampire Warp 7 and turns into a speck of black against the dark sky. Didn't know they had turbo boosters. And the chapter ends with, the key is gone with her, the Celestis has gone silent, it is night on Innistrad. It will be night from here to eternity. For some reason, even though nobody had the key and nobody activated the Celestis, and did it just break by coincidence? I still think Emrakul broke everything by adding mass to the moon. You know what? I don't even care at this point. So that's the end of Chapter 5. So now it basically moves into the Crimson Vow storyline, which I'll be covering. Haven't read any of them yet, though, so no spoilers in the comment section except for the one that I specifically requested. So thanks for watching, everybody. That was the worst possible version of the lore. Now you're all caught up. Just kidding. Oh my God, go read it. And I'll see you guys next video.